How you doing, baby? Happy Tuesday. And today on Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. When you get a minute, go to that YouTube channel, Shakenya. And hit subscribe, guys. Look at some of the videos. And if, hey, Instagram, I see you checking in. And if you see anything that you like, just hit share, y'all. Please. I'm trying to be famous, and I can't do it without y'all. I swear. If y'all share the video, and then somebody share from your page, and then somebody share from your page, before long, I will be viral, and everybody will be talking about that light-skinned girl, Shakenya, that be telling people how to take care of their kids. And I don't care how you get the message. I'll just get the message out. Please and thank you. So, y'all, today, you know, we're covering a lot by it being your senior year. We done pulled our boards out, meaning that the crime scene, the crime that's committed when the parent takes the child out the other parent's life and there's no abuse or neglect. We got our board up. We got our suspects on the list to see who was actually planting the seeds, who was actually using the manipulation tips on this baby. We got the reasons why. We trying to get our questions answered to who, what, when, why. We got all this going on. And while we're doing this, we're going back to your 9th grade year and we're talking about the manipulation tips that I gave you. And we're looking at the adverse effect and the psychological damage that it has now, years later. Some of you still don't have a relationship with your children as a result of these manipulation tips. Because, yeah, when they're put in place to work. And trust and believe they do work. Look at me. That's the only reason why I come on every morning. Believe it or not, I'm a very private person. If it wasn't for me going through what I'm going through, you would only see me on Fridays. You would only see me when I'm promoting my book. You would only see me if I'm out and about doing something live with the radio. Because I don't like people all in my business like that. Yeah. So I started Coffee and Conversation after this happened. Yeah. So if anybody have a problem with it, the child might have a problem with it. They probably follow me on social media. Who's to say? But that's the after effect of what was happening. Yeah, before this happened, you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what was going on with me other than what... That's how it's supposed to be, right? But since this happened to me, I felt the need to come and talk to you about it. Because if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody, right? So, now we're looking at the adverse effects. So, today we're going to talk about 2 of the manipulation tips. And then I think I'm going to give you a mental disorder. Okay, so first of all, are y'all following that Crumley case? Yeah, wow, can you imagine that? Can you imagine your child committing a crime or your child doing something wrong and you paying the price for that? Hey, J-Rock, can you imagine that? I don't know. So yeah, she on trial, baby. I've been trying to keep up with it, but yeah, that's deep right there. That's deep. Try to teach your children early about representing you out here in these streets. You know, hey, J-Rock, I don't know if I said hey, yeah, J-Rock. Yeah, so, one thing I would like to let you know is, you can't go backwards. Baby. When you raising these kids, you can't go backwards. Yep, so whatever you doing, however you teaching them, however way you raising them, that foundation, it got to be solid. Yep, those first bricks and layers that you put down. Yep, like I used so many bricks. Like I took so much time to make sure the bricks were lined up how they were supposed to be lined up. The mortar or cement, whatever you use in between, I made sure that it was laid on there thick. I made sure that it was even. I even used my little leveler just to make sure. And I mean, I packed it on and I put them bricks brick by brick by brick. Yet my foundation should have been strong enough to withhold anything that they had to bring. Yep. So my psychological damage is me feeling as if I failed somewhere. Yep. Feeling as if I didn't do enough. Feeling as if I should have done more, because even with that child being removed the way that she was, the foundation that I built should have been strong enough. Should have been strong enough to withstand anything. So I went wrong somewhere. The only thing about that is, and what bothers me so, is not knowing. Because typically you know what you did wrong. Yep. You know what part you played in that when the children don't want a relationship with you, or when your child don't like you, or even if your baby mama or baby daddy don't like you, you typically know what you have done for it to be. Right? So yeah, part of my damage is me not knowing what I did and not having a way to fix it, because I'm Mrs. Fixer-Upper. I'm always fixing stuff, right? So therefore, if there's a problem anywhere, of course I'm going to fix it. So part of my child's father's manipulation is making sure I don't know what the problem was. Because what if a problem do exist? What if something did happen? Think about it. And I'm jumping ahead because I wrote that down, but I wrote it down to touch on last. But I'll touch on it now since I brought it up and kind of segued into it. What if your child was upset with you about something? Whatever it is, whatever you could have done. It could have been telling them no for some shoes that they wanted because they already had shoes. It could have been no because they needed money and you didn't have it or something. Whatever the case may be, what if you told your child no about something and they were mad at you and they went and told the baby mama or the baby daddy? No. Typically, your baby mama or your baby daddy should reach out to you immediately to let you know that there's a problem, to let you know that something is wrong, let you know that the baby is upset with you about something. That way, you will have the opportunity to fix whatever it is at your leisure. Hopefully, you will do it right away. If that baby mama or that baby daddy felt that concern to call you right then and there, hopefully, you will take care of it right away, right? But knowing that you have an issue with this child and have the opportunity to fix it is how it should go. But when you have a manipulative parent, if that child came to that parent with an issue, instead of that parent coming to you to tell you that there's a problem, they use that and lure the child in. And at this time, they're probably going to start that inappropriate relationship. The relationship where they're talking bad about you. That relationship where they're eliminating you. That relationship where they don't allow you to be a part of whatever it is that's going on. Yeah, purposely isolating you from situations and not inviting you and not telling you about stuff. Excluding you is the word that I'm looking for. Right? So just imagine if they did that. So instead of trying to make it right with you and the other parent, they're trying to help this baby devise a way to get away from you, right? So they teach these children about the law. They talk to this child about what's the proper word for it? Emancipation. They teach the child how to do that through law to sever you as being their parent, right? They talk to the child about CPS and how they can start a case on you and open up a case on you. Yeah, all this. They teach the child this. Okay, so what if that happened to you? Just that easy. You don't have a relationship with your baby no more. Just that easy. Your baby is disobeying you. Just that easy. That baby is disrespecting you. Just that easy. That baby not talking to you. Just that easy. That baby distrusts you. All that from the other parent. Not working with you. Not going along with you. Not doing what they supposed to do as a parent. Yeah, all this. Just because y'all can't get along, just because one parent didn't heal, just because one parent can't forgive, just because one parent can't move on if I have closure, just because one parent hates you so much because you're not with them, that they're willing to sacrifice that child to do so. Because that's exactly what you're doing. Yep, their innocence is shot because you put them in grown situations by having that inappropriate relationship with them. Yep, you making them feel as if they're equal to the parent, and we all know that that's impossible. Here it is, I'm 50 years old. My children will never reach the height or the everything that I had to go through and deal with to get here. Partially because I sheltered them from a lot of stuff, so they wouldn't have to go through it, right? But everything that I had to endure, everything I had to go through, everything, fix it, Jesus. Fix it. So yeah, what if your baby daddy or your baby mama did that? Hey, Andre, good morning, honey. Yep, did that to you. Yep, that's a manipulation tip. And that rolls into, already talked about you not being able to go backwards. Already talked to you about that foundation that you set for those kids in the beginning. And you're supposed to grow from that. Yep, so you can't go backwards. So if you ain't do it right the first time, I know. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. Let me see. Now you see why it's so important, just looking at my situation. You see why you have to have, because I told you in your 9th grade year that you had to have an ounce of love and respect for your baby mama and your baby daddy after the breakup. Yep, I told you that. And then we talked about the seeds of co-parenting. right? We talked about compromise. We talked about the importance of communication. We talked about complimenting. Yeah, we talked about being considerate, right? And we also talked about having care and concern for that baby mama or that baby daddy, right? So considering my situation is the way that it is, and there's nothing for me, absolutely nothing. Like I can't even wrap my head around it. For these last 5 years, it's been just everything is like walking in a cloud. You know what I'm saying? Like I cannot wrap my head around what I'm going through and what I'm dealing with right now. And partially because of that foundation that I built. Partially because of that foundation that I built, right? Knowing that I aligned the bricks the way they're supposed to go. I'm supposed to be. Knowing that I leveled everything off. Knowing that I used the right amount of mortar and cement to hold the bricks together. Knowing that I took the time to build it. Knowing that I made the wall as high as I needed to keep the intruders out. Knowing I did all of this, right? It just evades me, just the fact that my situation is so severe and it being the way that it is. Like, even if she was to just have lived with him, why does that exclude me? Why does that give the child the right to just say, I'm not her mom and she's not my daughter, and everybody is okay with that? Like, when we talked the other day about stuff being natural and normal, how normal is that? I don't know too many kids that don't long for their mom. Yep, I run into so many cases, hey Doreen, where I deal with children where their parents abandoned them, the children were adopted out, they were in foster care, and they still try to find their mom and want to make a relationship and have a relationship. You cannot tell me a parent that has done what I've done, taking care of my children the way I've taken care of my children, raised them. They didn't just grow up. I raised them, meaning I took the time to instill discipline. I took the time to make sure morals and values were instilled. I made sure them children was in church. I made sure the example that I set for them was one that my boys can look up to where they would want a woman or a wife such as me. And the same as my daughters, they should want to be just like me, right? But because I was challenged by a parent, a lot of things can happen from that. Because the mirror effect was used. You know, we broke down all these manipulation tips that were used, and I guarantee you all of them were used in my case, right? Because I see the mirror effect every day. I see the mirror effect. I see competition. Yeah, because you can tell. Because if you're a parent that's competing with the other parent, yeah, the child picks up on that. Yeah, the child picks up on the lies. The child picks up on the... That's why your children turn out to be classic manipulators. Yep, a lot of them turn out to be classic manipulators, and a lot of them turn out to be narcissists. I know, and you create this. You create these people are created. Things happen in their life that create them, and majority of the time it's child trauma, right? So we don't want to get too deep. We don't want to get deep, but yeah, you got to be an ounce of care and concern there, because for me to be a mom and for there to be nothing for me, for it to be okay to just cut me off and there's not being missed, not longing for me, something is terribly wrong with that picture. And nobody's looking in to see if it's why? Because everything was planned. Everything was strategically planned. Everything was plotted. Everything was, yeah, I know. Because when they use these manipulation tips, they got to put them in order. They got to stage the scene. They got to lie. They got to create an elaborate story. They have to keep the narrative up. And then when the baby sides with them, that just make their story true. No matter what's going on, no matter what the child had to endure to make it seem, because the baby have to, it's just like you put them down. It's just because I don't want to use those type of words on this internet. You know, I don't want nobody to block the video. But it's just like you're plotting to put your parent down. You are plotting with this other parent to damage your other parents. Think about that. You siding with one parent to go against the other parent. How normal is that? How natural is that? Right? So you siding with this other parent to go against, hey, Niecy Pooh, hey, Shakita, how you doing? To go against this other parent. So imagine how much damage that's doing to that child to know that they are part of the reason why this other parent's reputation is tarnished. Why they're part of the reason why this parent's legacy is at a halt. Because in most cases it is, because a lot of people invest a lot into their children and they put their children in play to do certain things. So yeah, your legacy, everything that I was doing was based on my children. That's why I included them. So yeah, for everything that I did to add up and equal nothing, something is not right with that. And in order, and for it not to be right, that means somebody had hands in it. That means man-made things were going on. Somebody was strategically fighting or going against me, right? And the fact that I didn't know I was at war plays a big part as well. By everything being done so secretly and covertly behind my back, I was at war and didn't even know it. Right there, I had an unfair advantage, right? So therefore, it showed weakness, right? Because you got to think about it. This is war. Everything, when you're going against your baby mama and your baby daddy, it's war, right? The child has to take sides. Like, you put your child in such an uncompromisable position. When you do that, you put so much on their shoulders. That's why most of them, their innocence is stolen. Yeah, because that's why they're so mature in most cases, because they were forced to be an adult before their time, because they're carrying the problems of that other parent on their shoulders, right? So, fix it, Jesus. So, I think I covered the 2 manipulation tips, not having, because in my case, as you can see, there's no love and respect. Yeah, I don't know too many people that don't have love and respect for their mama, because that's taught from a child growing up. It's taught. So if you are working with a parent, if you have, like for instance, if he wasn't in her life, I wouldn't have no problems right now. Not to say that my children wouldn't have difficulty and they wouldn't be going through the normal things that in life, when life be life, and not saying that, but the generational things that start now, because new curses are being started now with the situation being as traumatic as it is, right? So without that, yeah, we wouldn't be going through the dysfunctions. We wouldn't be going through some of the disorders. We wouldn't be dealing with none of that if they weren't there, because it wouldn't be nobody challenging me, right? But considering I have somebody challenging me, that puts the child in a situation where they got to choose. And if you have other children that's still dealing with that child that made that choice, now that child going to have to choose eventually. So that means that child got to find a reason to hate you so they can be sided with this child that don't like you for no reason. I know, ain't that terrible? And just know people purposely do this, right? Chances are because they haven't healed from the relationship. Yep. They haven't found closure. Yep. And they still got feelings for you. Them the only reasons. I know. Ain't that crazy? So, yep. And that's it for that. And then today, I'm going to throw a couple disorders at you. Eating disorders. We ain't going to go into them, but I am going to name them. Just in case you didn't know. You got binge eating disorder. You got anorexia nervosa disorder. You got bulimia nervosa disorder. You have avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. You have rumination disorder. You have pica. You have orthorexia. You have diabulimia. And you have compulsive eating. A couple of them I have not heard before. So it's going to be different for me to, hey, Jerome and Heather, to go into it with you. I'm going to be learning some things as I'm teaching you when we go into them tomorrow. So we're going to break down the eating disorders. And then tomorrow I'll give you probably 2 more manipulation tips and the adverse effect of them from your 9th grade year to your senior year. So y'all, that's it for Coffee and Conversation with your girl, Shakenya. I'm at home working today, people. It is what it is. Enjoy your Tuesday. Mwah. All right, Facebook. Thanks for checking in with your girl. Enjoy your Tuesday. I'm out. Mwah. If it let me go.